I don't even remember what she had for like needs on the other one.
Hey, y'all.
Hi.
So when you're doing this, don't get too hung up on whether it said like values or needs or fears. Like, don't worry about like, is this a value or is this a need or is this a fear or is this, don't worry about that. You're just trying to, those are just sort of prompts to get you thinking. Um, but I heard you saying you didn't remember what I had. What was the thing that you were asking? Was that Elise?
We were trying to figure out needs, and I just don't know what that would include, like, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Okay. So with college athletes, so like with the needs, so some needs I would assume would be like they need to the like universities need to keep recruiting um, high level talent so that they keep their programs running.
Mhm.
Does that sound, did you
Yeah,
hear
that makes
anything?
sense.
Okay. Or like people who want people who don't want to pay. I don't know, it's tricky. Like people who want to pay athletes, um, the athletes might have needs to be able to um, feed themselves, or but I mean maybe they get fed by the universities, but maybe they have needs at home, like with their families. Um, like I don't know, maybe they have a need to work. Um, and what one argument I've seen a lot is that because college athletes spend so much time on their sports and their schooling, they can't work, and so then therefore they can't um, make enough money either to help their families or something. There was something with that. Did any of you find something like that?
I did not.
Okay.
I found something similar.
Okay.
It was
Okay.
just saying like some athletes come from poorer backgrounds and then they aren't able to pay
Y-
for food and housing.
yeah, there was something like that. Um, but just yeah, just use those. Are you finding any kind of commonalities yet?
We haven't really gotten to that part yet.
Okay, I'll come back. I'll come back. Do you guys have any questions for me? Nope. Okay, I'll come back. Hi there, Tiffany's here.
Whoa!
Ah, sorry. Sorry, Lily.
I'm sorry. I was looking for something and I just made an opera noise.
That's okay. That's okay. How are you doing with this?
We are just getting on to trying to figure out the needs for each side of the argument.
Okay, good. Okay. And as you go through this, try not to worry too much about whether or not something is actually a need or a value or a fear. Just like because they're fuzzy. And so, but don't spend too much time worrying about where one fits. But those are just sort of prompts to kind of figure out what's behind the different perspectives. So what's a value that you found out for people who support standardized testing?
They want to know where kids stand. I read an article in the Boston Review by Lilac Almagor, where she's talking about working with disadvantaged students, and before standardized testing became a mandate in her teaching career, she remembers like when it first, like just barely the first year it came out, she kind of shared the results in a parent teacher conference, and parents were upset and crying because they had no idea how far behind their kids were before this happened.
Okay, good. Okay. And what is a value that people who don't like standardized testing feel?
To protect the performance of disadvantaged youths, where the tests are not written in a way that can accurately display what it's meant to.
Okay, good. Okay. Is there anything shared between those?
They both
They
want
both
the
care.
best for children.
What, Lily?
They both want the best for children.
Interesting. Okay, very good. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, you sound like you're doing great. I will pop back around, but just send me a message if you need anything and I can come right back, okay? Okay.
I don't know how to do that, but I'll do it if I'll figure it out.
Tell one of the other two.
Figure it out.
Tell one of the other two to do it.
We'll make Lily do it.
Make
Oh, me?
it.
I don't know. You seem like the smart one.
Okay, sure.
You're both smarter than me. I don't know what to do about this.
Okay. Okay, I'll be back. Okay. Hi there, how are you?
Good. I just had a question on the needs. Is it like to improve the fears, or what goes like what would go there?
So needs, so like I don't want you to get too hung up on like if it's a need or if it's not a need. If it feels like a need, stick it in there. If it's not, if it doesn't feel like it, it's fine. Okay. So so like a need, I can imagine a need for the charter schools. Like a need is that a student or that the students get a good education. And that's very similar to a value, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then, so like people who support the charter schools, maybe they need to have more control over their students' education. You know, that's a possibility that I could see. And I don't know if you found that in there, but just kind of, but then a need that the not charter schools is they need to know that the education is like being, I don't know what the term is like being signed off on by experts, you know, in education.
Getting approved.
Yeah, so like public education seems like it is, I mean, it's all under the governmental system and it's all run by people with like expertise in education, you know, and they have their degrees in education and stuff. But you know, some charter schools are run by not education. I mean, they're run by people who go ahead. Do you need to deal with some? Go ahead.
Oh no, it's fine.
Okay. Like they're run by people, not all, but some are run by people who may not have education backgrounds. They may have like, go ahead, deal with each, go ahead. Totally go ahead and deal with it.
Sorry, my brother's sick and he's been throwing up all morning.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. And he didn't want to eat anything else other than a specific thing, so I had to go get it, and then I came back and he was asleep and he just woke up.
Oh,
And so,
poor
yeah.
kid. Oh, poor little guy. But so yeah, so somebody who's like pro charter schools, no, anti charter schools might be like, okay, they need to know that people who have been trained in education are teaching their kids, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you finding any commonalities yet?
Yeah, definitely there was one that, oh my God, there was one that I had, but I had it in my head, but I didn't write it down.
Okay.
I can't think of it right now.
That's okay. That's okay. That's cool. Okay, so I'm going to go out and check on the other ones. And I'm going to see, I think we might do about 5, maybe 10 more minutes. We'll see. This is taking longer than I thought it would, which is great because people are talking about it. So that's cool. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
And just shoot me a message if you need something. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Good. Are you finding any commonalities?
Yes.
What are you finding, Tracy?
Both parties want you to have choice in your healthcare. Both
Okay.
want quality of care.
Mm-hmm.
Both don't want to deny people if they can't pay.
Cool. Good. So this one's so interesting because it's like both sides want the exact same thing.
Yeah. But they disagree on how to get there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So yours is a very interesting one. And it's so
Yeah,
interesting.
one prefers a universal healthcare, one prefers a free market capitalist system.
Exactly. Yeah. And so then they both argue about which one is going to get us there.
Yeah.
And so this one, it's like, this one is almost makes it harder to resolve because you can't, like, people both are doing the right thing, so to speak. Like people are both moving towards the same outcome. But yeah, but one very big value difference. I don't know if you guys found this, but the ones who want the free market capitalist system, like they have a value that you should be able to make profits off of healthcare. And then universal healthcare feels like you shouldn't make profits off of healthcare beyond paying the people, who work in it and stuff. So people who are for free market and for capitalist healthcare, they're saying, all right, we can have shareholders, who invest in the healthcare that should make a profit off of this. Whereas universal healthcare says healthcare shouldn't be something like, oh, I don't know, like selling cars or something like that, that people should make wages, but it should be more like a nonprofit entity, whereas the other one is for profit, if that makes sense. So that's one big distinction. But it's so interesting that they feel the same thing. So how much longer do you think you guys need?
I think we're kind of done.
You getting close? Okay. So I'm going to go check with the other groups and I'll probably bring you back in about 5 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Go. I think there's one question we kind of resolved.
Anna, did you say you have a question?
Comment on. Yeah.
Anna, you have a question? Kind of. You're kind of breaking up.
Hello? Yeah. Can you better now?
Better.
For the needs, how does that differ from kind of like the values and fears?
They're all very connected. So if there's one that didn't fit, if it didn't quite fit, what I did is I used 3 different terms to make sure that you got at kind of all the background feelings. And so, but they may overlap completely. Okay.
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 Yeah.
Okay. I'll be back. Or I'll probably invite you back in a minute.
Very idea of natural citizens means that there are non-natural citizens. Yeah, I saw a similar article that said something like that as well.
But yeah, but I would also count that as a fear too, that if they started paying reparations to some people, like other people would try and collect them as well, making like them have to spend like more money or whatever.
Yeah.
I like Nicholas's point that he put in the chat where they're basically saying like if it's a case of giving back their land, it could mean removing people from like where they live and like what they had, basically.
But like that also like how do we give land to somebody if they never owned that land in the first place? You know, like if that land was stolen from indigenous people, like isn't it unfair to take that land and then give it to somebody else? It just seems like this. It doesn't seem like that's really going to help. It seems like that'll create an issue with what's fair, I guess.
Yeah, and that's kind of what he was trying to say. But yeah,
that's the problem because it is their land, but it also means removing people from that land again.
Yeah.
Is that morally right? Because removing land, giving it to someone else is the same thing, again, just with different people. And yes, they deserve that land. Should they have the option to stay? Do the whatever tribe or nation that is getting that land back, are they okay with them even staying at all, or do they want everyone gone? Do they all want it back? That could be a big issue because also some people just might not cooperate at all and stay there even if they're forced to leave.
Have another one of those armed militia issues like we had
Yeah.
2012 in Nevada or whatever. Don't want one of those. But that also brings up another interesting point specifically with land is like if they're not going to take that land, remove the people from it and give it to somebody else, like how do they put a value on that land? You know, like is it based on home value, agricultural value? Like how do they come to the conclusion of like how much that land is worth, I guess? You know, and is it a when the land was taken or is it right now, I guess, you know?
This sounds like an absolutely fascinating conversation you all are having here. How are you doing with filling that thing out?
Good. We basically have everything filled out except the needs of people.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, and don't worry about, if you don't get the needs, that's okay. I just asked the values, needs, and fears just to kind of make sure that we could get at what's behind these different positions from one of those angles, okay? So I'm going to invite everybody back in just about 3 minutes, okay? Okay. Do you have any questions for me? Okay, I'll be right back. Or I'm going to ask you guys to come back. Hey, how are you?
Good. Am I late or am I missing something?
So you were a little bit late.
Oh,
That's
it's a
okay.
mistake.
That's
I thought
okay.
we were at 10:45 to.
No, we were at 10. That's cool though. What we've just done, hey Elise, let me shoot you real quick into the standardized testing group, okay?
Okay.
Hang on one second, let me move you in there.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I got to figure out which group it is. Hang on. Got my notes here. Okay, so you are in group 5. I'll move you in there real quick, but I'm then going to be bringing people back quick too, okay?
Okay.
Just ask them for a summary of what they've done, okay? Hey Elise, how's it going?
Good, I got kicked out of the room. Or my internet went weird, but
Oh,
now
okay, here, let me move you back in. Move to, wait a minute, where are you?
with Meg and Jorge.
No, I know. I know, but for some reason I can't get you out. I can't get you back in. What is happening? Log out and log back in real quick, okay?
Okay.
There you go. It should be sending you an invite to go to the group. Okay, looks like almost everybody's back in. Just a couple more seconds and everybody will be forced back into here. Okay. 4, 3, 2, 1. Everybody's in. All right. Okay, well, that was really fascinating listening in on your conversations. You seem to be doing a fantastic job talking about these things. So here's what you need to turn in. Hang on, let me go back here. Okay, so this is the assignment. All right, let me minimize this. Okay, what you need to turn in for this assignment is you're just going to upload the handout or whatever most of you recreated it on a piece of paper. Okay, all you need to do is take a picture of it and scan it and upload. So it'll look something like this, where it'll just be filled out, take a picture of it, or scan it and then just upload it, and that will be this assignment. Okay, so do that. Now I want to take, because I know we're almost to the 1 hour mark on this, and my goal was to try to get this done within an hour. So I'm going to go as quickly as I can. And because I know that you're probably burning out on the Zoom. So, alrighty. So I'm going to go through the structure in this graphic organizer and your assignment for Wednesday. Okay. So Rogerian argument structure, and put a note in the chat here if you have a question as I go along. All right. Okay. So there's 5 main elements of a Rogerian argument. So element 1 is introduces the issue or the problem. Okay. Then the presentation and validation of perspectives that are different from your own, and then all the perspectives, presentation of your own perspective, analysis of commonalities, and then a conclusion that presents a negotiation or outcome. Here's one possible outline, okay? So you don't have to adhere to this specifically, but that's fine if you do. So the first one is to, in the introduction, you provide the context and history, you introduce concepts necessary for understanding, and bring the issue up to date in the current problem. So for example, with mine, the Electoral College, I had to explain what the Electoral College was, why it started, when it started, provide some concepts, and then explain what the current problem is, okay? Then present and validate perspectives other than your own. So you're going to present the perspective, okay? Who holds it, why they hold it, and what evidence supports it. And so with that, you'll be saying, you know, so here's a group that supports reparations. Here's why they support reparations, and here's some evidence that I found in my readings. So it might be quotes, it might be research, it might be facts, statistics, so on and so forth. And then you need to validate that. So basically explaining what you understand and why you think it's valid. And then you just basically repeat this for each different perspective. So this number 3 should actually be kind of in parentheses. So you just sort of follow this pattern for each perspective. Then what is your own perspective? What your perspective is, why you hold it, if you have any evidence that supports it, okay? Then next is the analysis of the commonalities. So what's the first commonality? What is it? Is it a value? Is it logic? What is it? How does it show up? And then just repeat it for all the commonalities that you can find, okay? So because you're looking for what do they have in common. Then your conclusion is that which presents a negotiation or outcome that might benefit all perspectives. This is not saying that both perspectives will agree with it. It's just from your sense that you think that this would benefit both, okay? So you present it, you analyze its basis in the commonalities, and then you explain how it impacts perspectives other than your others. So that's the general structure, okay? This is an example of drafting a general plan, okay? And this is for mine, and you can read through this. I don't want to take the time now to go through it, but this will show you an example of it. Now, some people really thrive with outlines. Some people don't. And so I've also created a graphic organizer that you can look at that will help you also see the structure of a Rogerian argument. Right here is a PDF version of this for you to download, but I've put it up in images here. And this looks exactly like that outline. It's just in a different form. It's in a more visual form. So first you've got your introduction, where you provide history and context, provide necessary concepts, and bring the issue up to date. Then you've got other perspectives, okay? So you're transitioning and you're summarizing general positions. You introduce the perspective, provide citations, summarize it, validate it, provide reasons, summarize, so on and so forth. So this is the same thing that that outline was saying, just looks slightly differently. And then this note here is just to repeat this pattern for each perspective, okay? Then you go to your perspective. So transition to yours, summarize your general position, introduce yours, provide sources and citations, explain and summarize. You're repeating this pattern until your perspective has been demonstrated thoroughly, okay? The next piece is the commonality or agreement between the different perspectives. Nicholas, will we get to discuss more in these groups? We definitely can. We could do that on Wednesday. Absolutely, we can find time to do that on Wednesday. So this is you transition to what perspectives agree upon. And Nicholas, let me go back to your question. I'm showing you this because we're going to analyze my essay for Wednesday. I will provide you guys time on Wednesday to talk about your topics more, because you don't need to do your writing until after Wednesday, okay? So it might seem like I'm getting you prepared to write yours right now. I'm getting you prepared to read mine right now, okay? So you'll do this commonality agreement. Then the conclusion is basically transitioning to potential agreement, explaining how it might benefit the issue, and then circling back around to the complexity of the issue. In this handout, I've also provided you some descriptions of what paragraphs do. So longer paragraphs do analysis, shorter paragraphs transition between the different sections. Use a new paragraph each time your writing shifts to what it's doing. I don't know why this has 2 underlines, because Canvas, I don't know, doesn't know grammar. But like a paragraph might introduce, it might provide history, it might set the current context. These are the different things that paragraphs can do. The voice and the style should be reasonable and open. The language should be conditional and not certain. So if I wrote in mine that the Electoral College should stay here for the rest of the time that humans live, like there's absolutely no consideration that I would consider that it should be changed, that's not academic, that's not acceptable in academic genres. In academic genres, it has to be slightly conditional, where I should say something like, it would be advisable for the Electoral College to stay, but it would be preferable, or it would be, you know, it seems like, it appears. So think about that. Resources and citations. This is using a mixture of quotation, summary, and paraphrasing, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let me show you what you're doing. So you have these, and you have these 2. You have this page, Rogerian argument structure, and this page, Rogerian argument graphic organizer. Let me show you what your assignment is. Okay, so for Wednesday, your assignment is you're going to read my sample and you're going to annotate it. I have it in 2 different formats. I have it in a Word format here, and I have it in a PDF format here, whichever one you prefer. And I want you to annotate my essay, and you can refer to that graphic organizer, or you can refer to this Rogerian argument structure, whoops, as you answer these 11 questions. As you answer these questions, I don't want you're not going to submit your answers to this assignment. I just want you to bring these with you to our Zoom class on Wednesday morning. So just have notes for yourself, okay? So here, let me just preview this. Okay, so here is my sample essay. I want you to notice that I have numbered each paragraph, okay? Because the questions, whoops, go down here. The questions are asking you about the paragraph. So which paragraphs make up the introduction? You can just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 7, 8, 9, whatever it is. Where's the thesis? Where are the 3 places that in-text citations are done incorrectly? You can say paragraph 4, 7, and 8. I ask you what paragraphs 4 and 7 are doing. So you've got to go look for 4. So let me go down here a little bit. Come on. So I find paragraph 4. What is this doing? What is this doing? Okay. So as you read this, I would recommend that you read through it all once, just quickly, and then come back and answer these questions. And that's what you need to do for class on Wednesday. What we'll do in class on Wednesday is we will go immediately to this assignment. I'm going to break you up into smaller groups. You're going to go through those questions. We'll come back for larger questions. Then we'll start moving to your drafting, and then I will provide you more time in your groups to talk about your topics. Okay, so that will give you time to do that. So let me pause before.
So are we turning in the answers to the questions?
Hold on one second. So these questions here, are you turning in the answers to these? Is that your question?
Yes.
No, you are not.
Okay.
Okay. So all that you're doing for this assignment to turn into me, sorry, thank you for clarifying that, Tracy, because I didn't explain that. So what you're going to turn in is, all you're going to turn in to the text box is that you have finished this assignment, but you have to finish it. You have to submit that before class on Wednesday. Okay. So just send me a message that says finished or did it or that kind of thing. I just want to know that you're ready to talk about these 11 questions, but just keep your notes for yourself. Okay. Okay, other questions from anybody about what we're doing? And then I will stop sharing the screen. Okay, so I'm stopping sharing the screen. Okay, so what I need from you guys is go into your reactions, and I need to see if you are good, or if, give me the little scared face if you don't know what you're doing.
I do have a question. Sorry.
No, please, no sorry, because if anybody has a question, I guarantee you that others have it as well. So go ahead, Megan.
So when this is more about when we're writing our paper, but I guess the outcome that we suggest, what if we agree with one of the actions that is already being done? Does it have to be a unique outcome?
No, no. And I can tell you mine was not a unique outcome. I'm not that smart. So, so yeah, because there's people who, you know, are coming up with all different types of things that are somewhere in the middle of this. And so, yeah, I came up with one that I thought to me made the most sense. So there was a bunch of different reform ideas, but for me, after reading all of the different arguments, I thought, okay, if I'm thinking of something that benefits both perspectives, then I'm going to pick this one. So yeah, that's absolutely fine. Okay. Other questions as people are moving along? Alex says it's a party.
When do we start writing our own?
Wait until after Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So I wouldn't recommend that you start writing until after we finish class on Wednesday, because after we finish class on Wednesday, we will have torn mine apart so you can see how it really works, and then you'll be prepared to just start writing, and you won't accidentally start writing in some direction that you'll get.
And when is that due?
The draft of your essay is due next Wednesday, so a week from Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay, and then the final is due the following week. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so just between now and Wednesday, just make sure that you have mine read and you've gone through those questions. Okay.
Okay.
And then everybody who hasn't turned in wind down number 4, turn that in so I get a sense of how you're doing. Okay. And make sure that you don't forget to turn in the commonalities work that you did today. Just literally take a picture, send it to me. Okay. So don't forget that, because I could see that could easily drop off your brains. Okay. Okay. Anybody got any questions before we wrap up?
No.
Okay. This took longer than I thought. That's fine. You guys had great conversations, but let's get off Zoom so you can go clean your brain. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
See you Wednesday. Bye.
See you Wednesday. Thanks.